Hello, my name is Jenny Englefield and I work for Mid and North Power Mines. My role is as a CBT practitioner, which is helping those registered on the online Silver Cloud programme to I guide and support them, helping them to learn CBT skills to use in everyday life. Today we're going to talk about anxiety. And we're going to visit one of the programs in Silver Cloud called Space from Anxiety. So if you have a diagnosis of anxiety, do you really understand what it's all about? Because to understand it can affect how it affects us, can help us to control and manage it more effectively. First of all, I'm going to tell you a few facts about anxiety. Anxiety affects 1 in 9 people of all ages and backgrounds, and it is twice as common in women as it is. It can be felt on both a mental and physical level, and it can also be helped by leading a healthy lifestyle, making sure you get plenty of sleep, plenty of exercise, and regulating your intake of alcohol and caffeine. And bear in mind that some anxiety can be caused by medication. One of the best things with anxiety is if you have a trusted friend to talk to them. That can help a lot. So what is anxiety? Anxiety is a normal response to a danger or threat. Therefore, it affects us from harm and keeps us safe. For example, if we came face to face with a tiger in the wilds, our anxiety would prepare our body for fight or flight. A little anxiety is okay, like before a job interview, because it will help us to prepare better and increase our chances of success. But anxiety is a problem when it's higher than it should be in a given situation and lasts for a long time and affects your ability to function. Now, CBT has proved to be effective in helping anxiety because it helps us to think in a more realistic way. And the basic principles of CBT is you can change how you feel, that's your mood and your emotion, by changing what you do and think. This is known as the TFB cycle: thoughts, feelings, and behavior. They are all very closely connected and impact on each other. Beck is now going to put up a slide of the TFB cycle in relation to anxiety. Thank you. Right, in front of you there, you see that you have the TFB cycle. Now, first of all, on the left, we have the trigger to our anxiety. And once that is triggered, then we start to think and we start to overthink, and our thoughts become very, very distorted. And when it's anxiety, we may, regarding the situation, we may overestimate the likelihood of danger, overestimate the level of risk, and underestimate our ability to cope. And these thoughts then lead to feelings of anxiety and negative emotions. And we may feel fear, guilt, nervousness, uneasiness, etc. And the intensity and duration of these feelings can sometimes be so overwhelming that we actually think we're never going to get over it. And this in turn then can result in physical symptoms, which are often so distressing that we visit our GP because we think we're really ill. And that can be something like a racing heart, a tight chest, faintness, dizziness, rapid breathing, trembling, changes in appetite or sleep, indigestion, nausea, etc. And then whatever has caused our anxiety, when we have to deal with that, what it is, we often avoid doing that. And this then, if we're not careful, can lead to the circle of avoidance. And if you checked into my first broadcast on the ladder of fear, we talked about the cycle of avoidance. So check that one out. Now, also, Outside influences can affect anxiety, like your circumstances, your finances, your job stress, or your health. Relationships, your social environment. Loneliness can cause anxiety, but ironically, loneliness is often caused by anxiety because when we're anxious, we tend to avoid doing things, e.g., going out socially, and tend to avoid that. So we tend to withdraw from people and become more insular, and that leads to more loneliness. Other outside influences are like your past history, something that's happened to you in the past which you've never resolved, or just everyday situations. For example, a disagreement with a friend. I'm going to give you a scenario now, which might help you to understand how the TFB cycle is driven by anxiety. And for this, we're going to talk about a lady called Annie who has 2 children. Now, so it was the summer holidays, and Annie's friend rang her up and said to Annie, "Oh," she said, "it's going to be nice this week. So in a couple of days, how do you fancy meeting by the river? We'll take the children. We can have a catch up, and they can play in the river. It'll be a lovely day." And Annie, without thinking, said yes. But as soon as she put that phone down, she was overtaken by anxiety because she remembered that years and years ago she had a very bad experience with water, and she never resolved it. She just buried it, and now it's been brought back to the surface. So that has provoked her anxiety. So she's already thinking things like, "Oh my goodness, if we go down to the river, the kids will get into trouble. They're stuck in the water. They might drown." So she's overestimating the likelihood of danger and the level of risk, and she's underestimating her ability to cope. And that in turn led Annie to feeling very anxious and having negative emotions, and she was feeling very nervous, very fearful, and very uneasy about the forthcoming event, which then resulted in physical symptoms for herself. And she was sort of having like tight chest, a racing heart. She wasn't sleeping well, and she just went off her food and was just feeling generally nauseous. So come the day when she was supposed to meeting her friend by the river, Annie avoided the situation. She rang her friend up and said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I can't come," and made some excuse. So, okay, that's okay for a short term. Long term now, her cycle is going to continue because she avoided that situation. Her thoughts then went to, "Oh, I've let my kids down. I'm a really bad mum. I'm feeling bad about this." And then she felt guilty, and the cycle goes on and on and on. So it's important that we actually break that cycle of anxiety. Now, to help you to do this, I'm going to show you a little exercise, and Becca is now going to put up a slide of the TFB cycle. Thank you, Becca. In front of you, you can see you have the TFB cycle. And if you want to try to control your anxiety, it's a good idea to just copy this little diagram and put it on your fridge or somewhere where you can look at it with ease. And when you have something that triggers your anxiety, by thoughts, just write down how you're thinking. And then, and then if you start to have anxious feelings, your mood changes, just write that down by feelings and moods and rate that from 1 to 10. And then if you have any physical symptoms, just write that down. And then when it comes to sort of addressing the event that's causing you anxiety, just jot down how you behave. Now, by doing this, you will be able to identify where you are in the cycle, and the more you practice, the easier that will become. It'll just become natural. You'll be able to say, "Well, this is where I am on the cycle, and this is what I need to do." And you may also notice that there's a pattern developing, because often we react to things in the same old way. So it will help you to work out things you can do change your moods. For example, your reaction to the trigger. Maybe you can change your way of thinking. For example, if Annie, when she had the phone call for a friend, just took a minute and stepped back and weighed up her options of other things she could do, she might have sort of suggested, well, instead of doing that, should we just go to and sit on the castle grounds and have a picnic? And by changing her reaction, that would have eased all her anxiety, and she wouldn't have had the mental and physical feelings, and her behaviour, she wouldn't have avoided it. She would have gone out for a day with the children, and everything would have been fine. So if you're able to change something regarding your own situation, do that, and then re-rate your feelings 1 to 10 and see if they change. I hope this helps. I hope this will help you. Have a go with it. And if you're struggling, do by all means ring up Anthea or myself, because we're happy to help, or send us a text. And, if you would like to join us on Silver Cloud, there's lots of very interesting programs on there. Give us a ring. We can refer you. You don't need a GP referral. And we will both be happy to guide you through the program that is suitable for you. So I just want to say thank you very much for listening in, and have a lovely day and stay safe.